Well, Omar Villafranca joins us now from outside the Watts home, where just a couple of days ago, Christopher Watts was pleading for his family to come home. My, how things have changed. Omar, what can you tell us about the discovery of the bodies and what that means for the investigation?
Well, police are being tight-lipped exactly where they are, but we do know that they were at an oil patch that Chris used to work at. Now, as far as exact details of the case, we're not getting much of that, and that's because there's an affidavit that has been sealed. I was in court yesterday, and the judge wanted to keep it sealed until possibly Monday, but in that affidavit, we'll learn a little bit more about a firm confirmation of that Chris Watts said he did, in fact, kill his family, how he did it, and maybe the method and what reason possibly led to that confession. But that affidavit is sealed. We'll have to find that out hopefully next week.
You said you were in court yesterday. I'm wondering, Christopher Watts is in front of that house pleading for his family to return. Then he's charged. He's in court. He didn't have much to say while he was in court, but I'm wondering what it was like. And did you get a sense of, what his mood was like?
Well, walking in, he was in an orange jumpsuit and he was shackled. And reporters, we were asking him questions. He didn't say anything. In the courtroom, he was next to his public defender, and the public defender basically, answered for him. But the judge did ask him some questions if he knew his rights. Literally all he said was yes and yes, sir. That's all he said in court. He was quiet, and I was watching his face. There was not much expression at all that he had. He never really bowed his head. They didn't really talk about charges or get into anything deep, just procedural stuff. But he was stoic. He was looking forward, which is a far cry from what we saw just a few days ago, where he was pleading for his wife and for his kids to come home.
Man, it is so confounding when you see the family pictures of them all together smiling, really looking like sort of a perfect family. So moving forward, what should we expect next week with this case?
Well, from what we understand, charges have to be filed formally Monday by 3:30 p.m. Mountain Time here, and that's what we're expecting to see. It's ultimately up to the district attorney, but we're expecting at least 3 charges of murder and 3 charges of tampering with evidence, that being the bodies. Then he's expected in court on Tuesday at 10 a.m., and that'll be a hearing which he could possibly enter a plea to those. We shall see. But for the community here in Frederick, they're really here in shock. I'm standing in front of the Watts' house. The homes are close together here. This memorial has been growing really since yesterday. We saw 5 women come up. One woman had a 2 to 3-year-old kid about the age of the 2 girls who were killed, and the women just all sat down in front of the memorial. They were praying and they were all crying. And it was one of those things where when this initially happened on Monday and police were at her, we're talking 20 members of the Frederick Police Department, they were handing out flyers to everyone. Community members here were getting flyers themselves, going to corners and different spots to hand them out, looking for it. And then of course they hear that there was a possible confession by Chris Watts. So people here are just running the gamut of emotions. They're upset, they're angered, and they're sad at the way that this ended.
Yeah, and I'm sure betrayal is among those emotions. Omar Villafranca, thank you so much.